Xfinity Series session has been put on pause for the moment. It is a damaged 44 machine. David Starr at the wheel, and this is what happened.
You see him go in, he turns, and the car wiggles. He chases it up the racetrack, gets up in the loose stuff. You see the dirt coming off of it, gets in the wall, and then spins. That's where it's got the most damage when he came down the across the flat. You look at that front valence. You see him right here. He's in the wall. Yeah, we can beat this out and fix this. This is an issue. Watch this thing come up right there. Boom. That's a big problem. That's something they're going to have to work on hard, if not go to a backup car.
Yeah, and they're going to, he's really hurt two really aerodynamically critical parts of that car, the right rear quarter and the front splitter. So they've got some work to do to get that thing to go fast.
America, you were at the Joe Gibbs shop. Oh, Bubba Wallace, Darrell Wallace Jr. right onto pit road. And thankfully not contacting anything. Brings out the red, of course, and that was a lucky escape for Bubba Wallace.
Yeah, he looked a little bit like the stuff we saw from Brian Scott. I think when we see it back, as he exits the corner, the thing just steps out. He chases it up the racetrack.
Hey, KP, the crew had told me, KP, just before that, it was a little bit free, and they might have been trying to adjust to that, but free was definitely the case for the 6 car. Excuse me.
Yeah, he got into it hard with the right rear and then spun it down off the wall. See, as he gets in the corner here, turns it down on the line, steps out, he catches it, boom. And then he just drives it off the wall down across the apron.
Yeah, I think there's enough damage there. That's backup car.
Yeah, that's a hard hit. Yeah, that's not just let's take it back and bump it out. Man, and back to what Ray was talking about earlier. We see that the these tires, you talk about the tires being so hard, and once they go, they go. When that thing stepped out, he chased it, for 200, 300 yards up the racetrack into the wall.
When that happens, Kyle, and you can tell me as a driver, but they say, it's almost like, you're that tug on the steering wheel, like you got no power steering, and all of a sudden that you got power steering. It's just completely comes unhooked. When you hear them say it's in the racetrack, out of the racetrack, when those things come out of the racetrack on a hard tire, you just can't get it back.
Last year's winner here in Kansas, two-time winner here in Kansas in Xfinity Series competition. Whoa, wow. Look at that. Brian Scott gave us some drifting examples before, but how about that from Kyle Busch?
Guys, this is Casey Mears. Hold on to it, Casey. Big slide off from turn 4. Get into the wall.
Damage to the right side of the Geico Chevrolet.
So not a good start at all.
Yeah, then we got a spinner, we got a car on the wall, somebody backwards there. Okay.
The 15 of BJ McLeod, he had a really nervous moment in qualifying earlier today where the car just got away from him. He actually caught it reasonably well through 3 and 4, skipped across the grass and returned to pit road, and unfortunately BJ brings out our first yellow of the day while running in 23rd.
Let's take a look and see what happened to BJ.
You see BJ's way up the racetrack. Just got loose getting in the corner and had to chase it up the racetrack. Ended up getting loose, even looser yet, and got into the wall. And what we saw at the start with Chris Buescher, he got put 3 wide. Somebody drove underneath him, and now you see these cars are 3 wide. So that's a product of this racetrack. You've got this really wide apron on the bottom of the racetrack just past the start-finish line. Drivers are going to use that to their advantage. This isn't Daytona. This isn't Talladega where there's a rule. So you're going to see a lot of times 3 wide getting into turn 1 on restarts.
Early on, Chris Buescher in the green and yellow Advocare Ford. Look at this. He's just getting roughed up by his title rivals. Look at that. Just gets squished in between Ty Dillon and Regan Smith. And on the outside was Joey Logano. He just got swamped.
Recap the race thus far. This was the street tuner category. Ethan Lowe with a quick pirouette before he even takes the green flag.
Great battle in GS. Andrew Davis, our pole sitter and leader, has taken over by Jade Buford there as they climb and come over the hill and through the final corner.
Problem here for one of the Compass 360 Audis, taking out signage. It was Jim McGuire. He was able to resume.
And that's what I mean. That was not part of the team strategy. He went off so fast here. Carbonell went off at high speed. He got a little out wide as the downhill, and that was a significant hit and damage, and the team were heartbroken.
That was not the end of the calamity down at turn 12. Want to see the number 5, Chad McCumbee. Stephen McAleer fell from first in class down as far as 6th. Then the most
fast just gets it a little bit wide, not the same as Carbonell. Just touched the left side tires as he turning in, loses control, and the championship day is over. Our defending ST class champion.
New leader in the 4 of Kevin Harvick, but that is the 26 of J.J. Yeley from Phoenix, Arizona, that has brought out the first caution as he got up into the wall. One of the questions I think a lot of the teams had
you got a hole right here if you want to come down.
It's
leaking water. It's leaking water.
Is the pressure that these cars put on the right front tire. Take a look up against the wall already. You see the 26 of J.J. Yeley, and he's riding the wall.
He's a little bit snug through the center, Mike.
Around goes the 14 of Tony Stewart. And the caution will come out. Doesn't look like a lot of damage to the car.
No, just some flat tires. He's going to have to be careful bringing that car back to pit road. Goes slow as he can to not let those tires tear apart and tear some fenders up.
And he's already gone a lap down. The leader went by him throughout that spin. So the key now is just, as you said, don't make this any worse. Do not damage the car. You're already gone a lap down. You probably won't go 2. Just be careful, be smooth, be slow. So on the bottom of the racetrack, he's nowhere near that speedy drive we've been talking about. Just gets loose. Car never quite spins all the way around. Or maybe he does. I think it just gets still wide open in the throttle. You can see it get completely sideways, but in today's cars, years ago that car would have spun all the way around, but today's cars, they make so much side force, meaning the air blowing on the side of the car, it's hard to get them to spin all the way around. So no damage to the car, but 4 flat tires.
To pit road, but this might be why he got so slow.
He's trying to get around the 6 on the outside, and you know, obviously got around the 6 and just got really tight leaving the corner and got to the wall. Seems like he's mad at Bain, but I'm not sure did Bain do something wrong?
Well, then right here he hits him a couple times on the front stretch. First he gets him loose, tries to get him, but he's not done. He keeps checking up with the bumper. Finally Bain lifts, lets the 47 go, but
and around goes the 42 of Kyle Larson, and now the caution comes out. So while a couple drivers had a difference of opinion with each other, the 42 of Kyle Larson, who thought he might have a right rear tire going down earlier in this run,
I got a flat though.
Spun around and says he has a flat. Looks like the left front is down on the 42. We're going well for the 42 team.
So he's in the middle of the corner, and we saw how loose he was, and you know, we showed it at the one replay. Well, it was lap after lap after lap he was that loose, and he finally just couldn't hold on to it anymore.
And you know, Jeff, when we talk about drivers and car control, this young man has it. He can drive a loose race car as fast as anybody, but what really you gain with a veteran driver, more than just understanding the races, they understand the weekend.
This is the reason for the caution. Austin Dillon, right front tire down and into the wall. Not the homecoming that Clint Bowyer wanted. The Emporia, Kansas native, hard into the wall, and he is out of the car and getting into the back of the ambulance. Take a look. He was running 16th.
See, he gets loose right
Sideways,
there.
yeah,
and ends up overcorrecting and hits the wall really hard impact.
It's right along with Jeff Gordon.
So hard as a driver when you have to turn the wheel back right. If you don't, you're going to spin out. But when you turn the wheel back right and the front tires catch, this is what happens. So you just got to not turn the wheel back to the right as hard. It's very difficult to do. We see really good race car drivers do this, and every tire is different. You know, the left side tires and right side tires are different. When you turn that wheel back to the right, the left side tires sometimes dig. This is a different tire than we ran last week at Charlotte. So every tire behaves a little bit differently. When he got loose, he just got the wheel turned too far back to the right. Hard impact in the wall.
Continue to applaud you drivers. Running right up near the wall, back in comes out from behind him, and into the wall he goes.
See how loose he gets and ends up getting in the wall. Caution comes out for him, and this sets up an interesting scenario. All these guys can make it from here on fuel. He really lost his entire race car and able to 22 to catch him.
Here comes the 22. He's closed the gap all over the back bumper now as they've caught this slower traffic. And around goes the 20, sideways in front of the 22. Kenseth slides. Caution comes out. The 22 was all over the back bumper of the 20 as they entered turn 1.
I got plans when I come the first time. Joey spun me out, lifted my tires off the ground.
That all started in turn 4 when Matt caught those lap cars. It wasn't that the lap cars blocked him necessarily, but aerodynamically it pulled all the air off Matt's car. He was the first one to the lap cars, and that allowed Joey to catch him.
See right here, Matt Kenseth gets tight. He knows the 20's coming, so he tries to block. He goes to the apron. He knows the 22's coming up. He comes up to block him. A big block onto the 22, and the 22 drives in, catches him in the left rear quarter panel, spins the 20 out. Matt Kenseth with a great save to stay off the wall, but the damage to the points and the ultimate win has been done. The 20 will have to come get tires. His chance to win today is over.
And Matt Kenseth had to do everything he could to block him. Just like I said, he's racing for his championship. If he doesn't block Joey Logano gets on the outside of him and gets around him. So you can't blame Matt Kenseth for trying to block.
Hang on right here, bud.
But with that, when you make that decision, and I agree, a must decision, he had no choice, you also put yourself that opportunity. We saw it last week with Carl Edwards and Dale Jr. We see it again with the 20 and the 22. When you drive defensively, you give the guy behind you the opportunity to make that decision. He gets into the 20. Right, wrong, that's racing. These two can disagree about it. They'll have to talk about it after. But as you mentioned, it all started with the 20's defensive moves, which were required in this must-win situation.
He was in position to win. Matt Kenseth. Around he goes in 1 and 2. And Kenseth's chances to advance to round 3 may have just gone up in smoke.
And listen, there's no question that Joey Logano could have lifted and cut him some slack, but I'm sure Joey felt like he blocked him, and that's why he didn't. Mike.